guys, what's up? So I'm gonna make this video quick, but I'm gonna show you what I did with my hood, just in case you got the same hood or don't know what the hell to do with it. So as you know, if you see my other videos, you know I've got a twin turbo 370Z. I've done a lot of cooling mods, and this is just another cooling mod for my car. I procrastinated on this thing quite a bit, but now with this coronavirus bullshit, I've got nothing but time. So you're like, what are you gonna do with this thing? What happened? What's the deal? So I did test fit this on my car, and when I test fit, it looked pretty good, pretty decent. It looked really nice. Now the reason I got it in fiberglass was because a lot of aftermarket hood makers are known for fucking up the hoods. You know, there's too much gap here. There's not enough there, and I didn't want to buy a carbon fiber hood. That would happen. Secondly, I'm not a big carbon fiber fan, anyways, and I would, I thought fiberglass is cheaper, and I could modify it. I could sand it, I could deal with it, but to paint this red to match the rest of my car, fucking beauty. So that's what I did. Now, of course, again, when I got it, when it showed up on my doorstep, the top side looked good. When the test fit, it looked good. But this underside looked like dog shit, okay? It had this big rectangle of fiberglass, right? I mean, it was part of that. It was all there. It only had, like, this thing here. So if you'd have, like, a bit of venting that went to all that. And some of it was just touching that. So, I mean, it didn't even seem like it was functional. It just looked like it was an aesthetic thing. I want function. I go to the track. I beat my car up. I want heat to go out. Anyways, so as you imagine, yeah, I dremeled it out, cut it all out. And the next thing I did was, this metal was silver. Bare metal. So I took some primer paint combo in a spray can, and I smashed that out on both sides. And I obviously painters tape the top side, so I wouldn't be dealing with all this overspray. I oversprayed a little bit on purpose, to be honest, because I wanted to see what the look would be like. Right when I opened this hood, I wanted to see how it would look. Now, the first thing that showed up was, this putty and all that. And I thought, I'm not feeling that. Of course and this was all gapped out. Wasn't feeling that. So the first thing I did was I put Gorilla Epoxy, right? It says 30 minutes, but I gave it 2 hours. I put weights on here, and, that looks fairly decent compared to what it used to look like. Same on this side. I tried something different at first, but then I just used the epoxy in the end, and it worked out. I put some of that putty here too, but because I want a flat finish. I don't want all this grill bullshit. It didn't come out the way I wanted, and I'm fighting with how how they did it at the factory. All this bubbles of fucking putty. So I've gotten this far. And what I'm doing next is bondo glass. Now, and I don't know where my hardener is. It's around here somewhere. But the idea is, I'm just going to fill all this up. All over here. And then I'm going to sand all this down. For this gap, that's a tough one. Because, again, I don't know. I mean, I could cut some small slit venting here. And I was thinking of also cutting here and over here too, and making it so that that air can, evacuate. So I don't get any type of ballooning or, mess. I don't think that epoxy ain't going anywhere. So, but I didn't want an issue. Because, when you go at higher speeds, air does get up in here. And whatever doesn't come out here is obviously going somewhere else. So that's a thought. That's a thought I had in mind. The other thing is I can just dump a whole shit ton of bondo glass in here and just get it to fill that area. That's something I'm strongly considering as well. and then go from there. And then I've got these guys. These are red LEDs. I was considering put one here, one over there, one over there. Running my electrical lines all the way across, and to see how that looks. So that's the project I've got in front of me. I'm gonna start with that one can. I've got another can coming, but we'll see. We'll see what I need to do. I honestly believe in the end I'll probably end up filling this out, but we'll see what happens. What else? Oh yeah. So when I'm done with this, I'm most likely the very next video I'm gonna make is here and here. I think they're called arrow clips. I forget what the hell they're called. Geez, I forget what they're called. But they're I don't know, fasteners for the fiberglass. So put on the top side. You pop them open and you could open your hood. But when you're driving or you're on track, doing track speeds, so it's not going to fly off and try to kill me or break off or whatever. So that's a necessity. I know some people say, yeah, this is strong enough. You got two hook points here, and you've got a emergency latch point here. But honestly, we're talking fiberglass. We're talking, high speeds. I mean, there's nothing wrong with adding extra, safety. Now, I was going to paint this red along with the rest of my car. But until I am not laid off, I'm probably going to be living with vinyl. Vinyl's cheap to get on this hood, and that's the way I'm going to roll until then. And then once I'm up and running again, I'll paint the hood. I also have, believe it or not, I have two fenders. They're the RS1 fenders with those do have carbon fiber slats. The rest of it's just unpainted fiberglass, and that's what I'm doing there. So I probably get 10 feet of vinyl, right? It's gonna be 5x6 here, and then the rest is for the. I might need more, but if I can at least get one fender and the hood done, then I'd say that's pretty good. Since I've never done vinyl before, that's going to be a fun project that I'll have you guys watch me do, because it's going to be interesting. Hell, I haven't done fiberglass before. I've never pulled the motor out. I've never done all the shit I've done in my car. Guess what? It's been super successful. I mean, anybody knows anything about pulling a fucking engine out, that was a pretty tough project. But I got it, man. So, as you can see, I'm kind of working on something here. So, if you're wondering what I did, so I took a little bit of bondo glass, okay, and I filled all this in because before it kind of had like a lip in there, like what you're seeing here. I even filled it in with some of that red shit. That stuff is actually, what is it called? It's bondo putty. So, gloss putty, whatever. It's not an absolute perfect thing here, but what I'm going to do is, I've got this on the way. This is DEI Reflect Gold. And what I'm going to do is I'm just basically going to cover pretty much all, well, I'm going to paint this first, but then I'm going to cover it up, and I'm going to paint it black, and I'm going to cover it up. But what I'm planning on doing is just to there. I'm probably going to leave that clear, because just the only real concern about heat is basically in this area. On the other side, too. Anyways, so this is pretty much the first part of it. Just to get all that done, right? Second part's going to be painting this. I mean, I think spray paint would be just fine. I don't see the problem with it. Just a nice satin black paint. because I'm going to be basically dressing most of it with this crap, just for heat reflection. And then the third part is going to be putting Areocatch hood pins. So I'm going to be flipping it over. I'm going to be putting hood pins somewhere around here. I don't know where, and on that side too. Wherever it looks good on the other side, and where it can functionally hook up to the engine bay without being a problem. I mean, that's going to be interesting because I might have to find brackets for it. And then the fourth part is going to be wrapping it. Now, I've never wrapped a hood before. Kind of like I never did fiberglass before, and I think I did pretty decent doing the fill compared to what it looked like before. I didn't show you guys what it looked like before, but trust me, it's better. And then, yeah, once I wrap it, that's it. Eventually, I'm planning to paint it red, just like the rest of my car. Just get it properly painted. And the fenders too. I got fenders waiting to go on the car. Same deal. RS1 Fly One fenders. But I may just go ahead and wrap those. With those, it's just a question of getting them on the car. I've spoken to some people on the. Hi. Yeah. So I've gotten some feedback on how to put them on the car. You gotta get washers, you gotta do this, you gotta do that, and then there's these deals you gotta buy because you gotta take the entire bottom curtain off and stuff like that. So it's gonna be fun, but just want to show you guys what I'm starting the project on. And if you got a Fly One hood and you gotta do this, well, this is what I'm doing, and hopefully the finished product might be something that looks good enough that you guys might want to try it. Because like I said, this is my first time. I saw it didn't look the way I wanted it, and I figured, hey, what better way to learn than to just jump in on it. So to take the hood off, I normally throw this on because it helps me maneuver the hood around while I take the bolts off. Makes it easier. So there's the OEM. I'm not done working on this guy. I still need to put reflect the gold tape on all that. And that's in the mail. That's on its way. I did put some satin over the mat, and it really cleared up some of the overspray from the original satin that I put down. So just a note: if you're gonna paint it matte, paint it matte from the beginning. Don't paint it satin first, because then it's a pain in the ass. At least that's my experience of it. Now you're saying that's a little rough. Shouldn't be a big deal with the tape over it. I'm not really that concerned. This is basically, yeah, and the tape's gonna pretty much go all over. In fact, I might bridge it over because some of that's ugly, so I might just do it. So yeah, so that's why I really didn't paint it that much. But yeah, hopefully, I'll be able to take this. I want to call it like a weather strip wind guard type of deal, because it kind of just lips over the front, or it's supposed to. I gotta make the holes for it. What I'll have to do is take this off, and then just, approximate where it needs to go there, and then just get the work done. Same will go with the windshield wiper fluid. This really is up in the air whether I want to put these on or not. I have some locking Areocatches, and I have some non-locking ones. If I get the non-locking ones, then I'm going to want the whole gear. If I do get the locking ones, I'm probably just going to remove this and this, and then just pull the cable and all that shit, because it's not needed if you can pop it from the front. But this is always good defense if something didn't lock right or whatever, man. I have a story of me going a little fast, and it was just on that held it down. When I got out of the car and saw that the hood wasn't completely closed, I almost had a baby, man. I was just stressed. But knowing that this thing was that good really made me feel good. So that's that. And if I go over anything else, then we'll just talk about it later, I suppose. So this is what the hood looks like. This is, if I didn't tell you before, this is the AMS GT hood from Fly One. Carbon, or not the carbon fiber version, just the fiberglass version. So we're just gonna give you some fitment notes on this thing. So when I left off, I had put some, well, let me see if I find a light. Give me a second. I know I've got a light around here somewhere. There we go. So I left off. I definitely had worked on some of this fiberglass. I just wanted to smooth that out instead of having like a dip in there. This is kind of ugly, but it really is not going to show because what I'm putting over this is reflective gold tape. That same stuff on here. Why? Because I don't want the hood to get all funky. It's super high temps. If I'm running it on the track and stuff, I really just want to give it the best chance to breathe and not cause an issue. That's why I didn't finish painting that. You'll notice putting this thing on, I did a little scratch there, but that's easily fixable. Some garbage bag and some paint. I'll just spray paint right back over that. But yeah, that's what the hood looks like on the car with the hood up. Now I didn't finish tightening these, so I can kind of move them around. Let me show you what it looks like when it's closed. So now I can move this because it's loose, but well, I was moving it earlier. Anyways, immediately you'll notice this thing is higher. In fact, everything here is higher. So I'm planning on doing is getting some washers, and I'll rebolt that with some washers on the side that's actually clamping to the what do you call it? To the hinges. Same over here. Not as bad, but it's definitely noticeable. Now the gap, it's not entirely terrible. I mean, it kind of falls in line with what was going on over here. This gap could use a little bit tightening up, and we'll see. I mean, that being a little bit of gap, you can imagine what it's going to look like here. Let me try and back it up just a little bit. I don't know if that's going to help. That kind of helped a little bit. That's not too bad. Now that's gappy because it's floating around on the hinges. But I mean, if that's your gap there, and that's your gap there, that's not entirely bad. So Fly One, not a big deal. I was expecting a lot worse. Now there is a slight bit of arc on this thing, where it's kind of like just dipping in, but I think when I put the Areocatch pins in, that kind of just flattens it out because I'm pulling that down a bit. It is a cool visual to see those in there. I may have to take a Dremel and get into all these spots. Dude, I could already feel the heat coming up from this. This is perfect. All right, so I'll definitely have to take a Dremel and clean that up. And then I'll have to, put some towels down and kind of give it a light spray. But yeah, the biggest part is this. And so for this, I need to get washers. For that, I need to go to Home Depot and get that done. So if I told you before, and by the way, it really does look clean on this car. It really does look clean. Once I've been able to paint it red to match the car, or vinyl wrap it, match the paint, and it looks good, man. It's gonna look amazing. The next part is, for showing you another video, is this guy here. I've got the RS1 fenders. One of them is up there. And that'll go down here too. I'm really thinking about, well, for now I'm going to wrap all of this black. So when I put it on, I want it to be finished already. So I'm going to get that done in literally my living room, just to get that done. But that'll give you an idea. You know, fiberglass stuff and carbon fiber stuff is never a perfect fit, but you can try to minimize that by just doing work. At the worst case scenario, if I cannot move this any farther back, I've got this gap, I may be able to just lay some fiberglass on that. I'll just have to see. I'll have to see how I feel about it, because it's just more work to pull it off the car and stuff. But yeah, let's look at that. So you can see the fitment's pretty decent. I was up in the air about cutting holes in the bottom part of here just to relieve a little bit of air, but I might just do that after all. All right. Well, I hope you guys have a great visual of what's going on here. And that's the MSGT hood from Fly One. Now, once I'm done, I'll probably end up taking these stickers off and putting it on the Fly One hood. So, going from there. All right, talk to you guys later. All right, so since these guys are a little low, I've decided I would do what I did with the Subaru the one time and use some of this bar. Soft aluminum, shouldn't be hard to cut. It was never hard to cut. But what I have to do is match it to that. I mean, that's pretty spot on to how it is on the actual mount. So how I'm going to do that? Well, I took some packing tape and stuck it on both sides. What I'll do is I'll just make a form like that, cut it out, and do that. So I'll let you know how it comes out. Alright, so that's how it comes out. It's a little rough, but I can make finer adjustments with the scissors. Just make it smooth. But to know that's half the battle. So on to the next one. Now that's that one. Not perfect, but it'll work. Now to make the form. Alright, so I've got that painted on, or markered on, and I use the plastic little forms to make that. So hopefully that will go on that. And once I properly match it to that, I can just go ahead and unbolt the hood and then go from there. So yeah, done deal. As soon as I cut this out. Alright, so after I want to say a full day of playing around with these brackets and sanding them down, I was definitely going to need some washers because it's just too big. I mean, the adjustments I made were just a little much. So washers, that's not a real big of a deal. So I did take off the weather stripping. And so what I did here, how to get the weather stripping on, is basically take some double stick. Just take some regular double stick indoor. And I just went right across and stuck this to it. Found my holes. For these bottom ones, take the, that was an extra one that was over there, but anyways, for these, I forget what the hell they're called, little insert plugs or whatever the hell they are. I just used some tape, and I just marked the, the ridges, so that I could just put it in the right spot. And I mean, that's how it came out. I mean, it's pretty decent if you ask me for the weather stripping. I have a problem here because if you look over here, I got nothing. So if I dig into that, I'm gonna have a problem. So what I'm going to do is probably some Gorilla double stick. What I might do is put it on and also just heat gun the hell out of it. See if I can superheat it and get it really super tacky stick. And same with this. I mean, this is, I don't know where you get that real super. I might have to sand this too. So I don't know if it's the spray paint that's making an issue of it. This is where I started the hole and realized, oh, I could make an ugly situation. So yeah, my next step is trying to find out how to get these rubbers off. These are a pain in the ass. I'm not even sure how to take them off. I'll have to reach out. Same with these. I mean, I guess they might be throwaways, but I have to figure out how to get these fittings off so I can get my windshield wiper fluid on. When all said and done, when this is really, really clean, I'll probably heat gun the stickers and transfer the stickers over, including the OEM. Unfortunately, there's some fiberglass imperfections, and I just didn't clean them up. But I'm not super good at this stuff. When it comes to like that type of level of fabrication, I mean, I was able to get this sort of stuff done. I know I can cover it with. Let me just look at this real quick. Yep. I know I can cover it with tape, but that's the extent of it. All right. Well, that's that. Let's see what happens tomorrow. What's up, guys? So here's an update. So I needed to drill these out. They're not perfect, but they're not gonna get looked at. It's for these guys here. One did break, so I've had to put a little Gorilla Glue on it. Hopefully that's gonna hold. We'll see what happens. I did add some relief holes for some air to come out. Hopefully get some of the fiberglass that drilled into it out of the way once I'm underway. I do have to resand that, repaint that, because, well, I made a boo-boo. I still need to make holes here for the little mounts for the hose. But otherwise, that's that. This is definitely on my kill list. I'll be looking at that soon, but not just yet. I really got to get the hood ready to put on before I do that. In the meantime, I got to figure out where I want to put it. I know people put them in different places, but I really want to put it in a place where I'm not going to have issues. So let's see how that goes. But so far, so good. I was able to get these on, so that worked out really nice. You know, if you're working with these things, to get these bump stops on them, holy shit. Well, first of all, they screw off, just in case you didn't know. Secondly, these guys, I had to unscrew them quite a bit just to get them to latch. I'll have to see again how that works. But, and I have some sticky tape there, but I'm trying to give them the best chance to bond. So I kind of put some painter's tape there to hold it in. But yeah, it's coming along. I'm not too upset about the process. Taking some of these clips without breaking them is quite a mission, but it's doable. Anyways, all right, talk to you soon. All right, so I finally got the holes drilled for these. When you notice trying to work with these, it's gonna be a pain in the butt trying to figure out what looks good on these. I went to the hood and I basically masking taped the entire thing, from all the way down here all the way to the top, and then I made these as my guide holes, and then I was able to punch these out. This is a little bit of a made up contraption here, so I just made a real small hole for that, but these are the bits that I used. Those are the bits I used for the small holes, and this is what I used for the big holes. Really works out. Did a good job. If you're wondering what these are, I made some relief holes because I've got air that could come up in here. So that's what those are. I probably told you this before, but so far everything else is built on this. I'm just waiting on that tape to show up so I could tape all that up. There's some unfinished stuff, but that's fiberglass, and honestly, I mean, I'm not good enough with doing all that. There are some scuff marks here, but that's from the mounts, which is fine. Again, if I hadn't shown you, that's been painted, so we're just waiting to get that party started. And yeah, that's it. If you're wondering why this, yeah, I totally lost that piece, I think. There was a hose that goes to the original reservoir, and I replaced it with something else because I did do a what is it called? Not a delete, but a relocation for the reservoir, and that's in the back trunk underneath right by the spare tire where it'd be. If you haven't seen my previous video on that, look up the one where it says side mount the oil cooler and all that stuff. That's where I redid that. So this isn't in all the way. It's kind of like you have to drill inside a little bit to get a little bit of a thing on it, but I'm not going to go that far. What I'm going to do is grab a little of this guy and just tack some dots, because you never know when you're going to take these off, but I just need it to hold. I don't need it to be set in there for the rest of, eternity. Like I said, those can get clogged, something could happen, and boom. So that's that. All right, guys, talk to you later.